Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming to watch. I've got you guys an update on a very big storm system that is currently expected to bring life-threatening flash flooding into portions of California, as well as a big pattern change that's coming up. I've got all the details in this video. All right, so thank you all for joining me here on this Saturday evening. We've got a lot to talk about, and already on your current radar, you could still see that we have pretty active weather across the United States. Let's get this off your screen. All right, but right now you can see that you've got a big system that's currently moving across the central United States. This is going to continue to produce some thunderstorms and some heavy rain out there across portions of the southeast. The storm will be moving off to the north and east, where it will become kind of less of a organized system. This will just bring some showery activity to the eastern United States. Now, the big picture, the big focus, the main focus today is this massive storm coming out of the southwest. We've got an atmospheric river storm that's currently expected to bring life-threatening flooding into California. So please stay tuned to this video, especially if you are in this video. If you know anybody, or any friends, family, or just anybody out there into California, please stay tuned to this video. So you can get this life-threatening information, or sorry, this life-saving information. Was what I meant to say, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And we'll move on here to our current current alerts. All right, you can see that we're very active in the central and western United States. Now, the eastern United States is still calm for the most part. So starting up north, you can see we've got dense fog advisories going out for portions of the Dakotas down to Nebraska, and then through Nebraska into northern Kansas. So still some foggy conditions out there on those roadways. So take extra cautious, or be extra cautious while you're driving. All right, and then down there into Texas, we still have high wind warnings going out for the Panhandle up into New Mexico. Wind gusts could get as high as 60 miles per hour in some areas, so please be aware of damaging wind gusts. I know that this is not a populated area at all, but if you are out there and there are people out there, just please be sure to be aware that there are dangerous conditions, and you definitely don't want to be in any areas near trees. And obviously power lines and down power lines. All right, got wind advisories though stretching into portions of southern Texas, as well as it looks like red flag warnings. All right, because you have dry conditions and you have windy conditions. That definitely puts together a good atmosphere for, or just a good condition for some wildfire spread. All right, up into the mountains of the western United States, here into Colorado, Wyoming, into Montana. In your pink shade, you've got winter storm warnings. In your purple shade, you've got winter weather advisories. That's because of this big system that's coming in tonight. And then this is the big story into California. These pink shades, once again, they are winter storm warnings going out for portions of central Nevada through through the Sierras here of California into northern California. Now in this gold shade, which is including many areas out there into California, big time populated areas, you've got high wind warnings, some wind advisories in there, but I believe that there are some big cities out there under high wind warnings. You've got flood watches down there into Southern California. This is going to be the biggest storm of the winter for you guys into California. So stay prepared. Don't be scared. Be prepared, and just continue watching the video for the latest information. All right. So we move on here to the southwestern United States. We're taking a look at this big system that's moving through the south. We saw I don't want to call it a severe weather outbreak, but we definitely saw a substantial severe weather event yesterday with, I believe, one confirmed tornado in Texas, and we did see some pretty widespread damage wind in that area. So definitely a system that you don't want to mess with, guys. And this is continuing to produce severe thunderstorms as we go throughout tonight. This was 8 p.m. today, so just about an hour and a half ago. We had a low that was off the coast, but you still had some pretty heavy downpours moving through portions of Louisiana. Watch as the shower activity continues, but up north, this is all going to kind of just fade away. But because you've got moist conditions lingering, anybody farther north than really Missouri and Kansas, you're going to be in a period of dense fog. That's why we have dense fog advisories. Now, you still got a rotating low, and What we'll see is these upper level winds will really get going. So your jet stream is going to become amplified here. That's where we could be dealing with some prefrontal supercells, and I think some of these supercells are going to pop off there on the coast of Florida, and I think we will see an isolated tornado or two in this area. All right, because look at these supercells; they're discrete. All right, you've got a lot of moisture to work with, and that upper level jet stream, guys, is going to be ripping out there tomorrow. Or this is tomorrow here. So right around lunchtime, guys, tomorrow. I think that the tornado threat's really going to ramp up for Florida, and then any farther north, you're going to be dealing with thunderstorms, non-severe, and then other than that, it's just going to be downpours. All right, this continues to move through the southeast. You'll still see thunderstorms into southern South Carolina as this low continues to kind of just fall apart. Yeah, this is going to be the end of it because you're going to have dry and warmer air, or dry and colder air, I should say. That's going to be coming down, from Canada. All right. So, for the severe weather potential, this is for tomorrow. Today's risk for severe weather is low, but this is for tomorrow. We have a slight and a marginal and a slight risk for severe weather. We're up to a 2 out of 5 risk. And there it is. It's for the Florida Keys and the extreme southern sections of Florida. It's those discrete supercells that I'm watching, guys, that could be rotating. I think that, if we see the upper level winds get strong enough, I think that with the amount of moisture loaded in the atmosphere, I think that the 20 threat's going to be a little bit slightly elevated. But you've got Miami, Florida, Hyla, Florida. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Fort Lauderdale, Pembroke Pines, and Hollywood, Florida. All of you guys are in that slight risk, which is level 2 out of 5 risk. Surrounding areas up into central and northern Florida, you've got San Jose. Sorry, that's in California. Jacksonville, Florida, Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, and Orlando. All right. And so that's just going to be for those northerly sections that'll still going to be see the tornado threat. I think there could even be a tornado in this area as well. It's just going to be a little bit lower. It's really down by if you're on the coastline, on the southern coast, if you're in the Florida Keys, all right, that's going to be the highlighted area, the best area to see a tornado. Obviously, you don't want that, but just putting it in words that way. All right. But notice on the California coastline, we do have a slight severe potential with our storm coming in. It's got so much moisture and high winds as well that we could see a brief spin up or two. All right, on the coast of California, you got San Jose, California. All right, and I do think waterspouts are possible on the Florida coastline as well. So definitely be aware for also dangerous beach conditions, the high surf out there, or rough surf, I should say, in California, or sorry, in Florida. All right, tornado potential. This is what's driving that marginal risk in California. You got a 2% risk just on the coastline there, but look at this. You're up to a 5% risk for areas of southern Florida. That's just all driven by what we saw on the NAM. We saw those discrete looking supercells. I think that this is exactly what's driving this 5% risk. You've got Miami, Florida, Hyla, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, all right, Pembroke Pines, and Hollywood, Florida. All of you guys are in that 5% risk, which is it's not uncommon, but it's definitely not something that you see every day. So this is considered a slightly elevated tornado threat. And areas up into the central and northern sections of Florida are included in that 2% risk, same areas as the marginal risk. Damage and wind threat, 5% for both areas, California and into Florida. And then hail threat, you've only got a 5% in Florida. But guys, the main issue is definitely going to be tornadoes, and I do think that will be for both regions, both Florida and California. But I think that, the severe potential, it's definitely down into Florida, obviously. All right, and then if you go out to Monday, all right, you just have a threat for regular thunderstorms, no severe threat existent. All right, so we move on now to the storm in California. I actually just put this as the totals first. So let me just pull up your NAM model real quick. All right, so take a look here. This is your NAM model for the southwestern United States. This storm is life-threatening, guys. Life-threatening is written all over it. You've got extreme conditions that are about to unfold across California. All right, so what's happening before the system? We got to figure out what in the world is causing this to be such a big storm. Well, you've got high pressure out here associated with cold air. All right, this is your pattern right now. Your jet stream is kind of like this. All right, and you've got high pressure that's weak. All right, but it's trying to bog this storm farther south. But the reason why this is becoming so strong with these winds is because of this moisture. This is an atmospheric river, so this has enough moisture to do this. It brings up a lot of energy and warm air, and it bumps up on the jet stream, causing a ridge to form. And we see a lot. We'll see above average temperatures in this area. It's going to be very tropical like, especially on the coast of California. And the reason why the winds are going to be so strong is because it's using so much energy to bring up as much moisture and warm air as possible. And so we see that unfold. And the reason why for damaging wind gusts is because of that. And so we see this continue throughout tonight. We actually are starting to see some rain starting to fall across portions of California, but this gets heavy not until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, which I think this is in Eastern time, so this would be really about 2 in the morning tonight, or sorry, tomorrow morning. 2 in the morning, you will start to see the heavier bands come ashore. And notice how we also start to see some snow start to break out across the upper elevations of California. That's all going to get heavy. You've got 990 millibar monster starting to creep on shore, and then bam, this is 10 a.m. So this is really when everybody's waking up. You're going to be waking up to extreme downpours if you're on the coastline, and if you're in the upper elevations, it's going to be snowing like you've never seen before. All right. I know it's crazy, but some areas out here may even end up with 4 to 6 feet of snow. I mean, that is that's ridiculous. I don't even want to get into totals because it's going to be so crazy that it's just I pray that nobody is watching from the upper elevations just so that nobody is living out there, because it's literally going to be impossible to get around in the heaviest snow. But here comes that rain. That's what we're focusing on. All right, this is 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for Californians, and here it is. I mean, this is bringing just rounds of moisture. This is why we call it an atmospheric river, because it's not like one storm, a usual storm, that just brings one round of rain that comes in, and then you've got dry, cold air coming in behind it. That's what a normal storm does, but it's got such a big moisture feed from the Pacific that it's able to form new bands as it's moving on shore, because this low is still off the coast. All right, so this still can generate new bands. So we just see round after round of moisture. This is heavy rainfall that's coming down here. So we're getting into the afternoon hours. It's snowing like crazy in northern California, the mountainous regions of California, Sierras, into Nevada. But man, that heavy rain is just continuing to batter the coastline with strong winds. You're probably gonna see tropical storm force winds and tropical storm conditions along the coastlines of California. This, my friends, is where I'm expecting the worst conditions to unfold. It's right into here. I think we're gonna see the heaviest rainfall, that's the most rainfall, and just the strongest winds. It's lining up all in that area. When does the rain stop? It takes all the way until Monday, and we're getting into early Monday morning, and you still got heavy rain down here near San Diego. You still got rain on the coastline. This low isn't even on the coast yet. All right, it's just insane. But this is definitely being affected by the land, very hugely. All right, and so finally, this storm starts to just kind of fall apart and diminishes overnight Monday into Tuesday. But oh my gosh, is that going to bring just so much moisture, guys? And the snow rates out here are going to be ridiculous. I don't want to get into snow, because obviously it's for those upper elevations, but the rainfall totals, it's going to be, I mean, this is like over 48 hours straight of rain for some areas. That's just too much. All right, so we move on here to your rainfall totals. Here we go. We'll take this out, and boom. All right, notice how the totals continue to increase, even getting to the end of this run. So what we could be looking at here is for the interior portions of California, you still may end up with 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, but it's down here by the coast. All right, look at this. 9 inches of rainfall. I think a town called Ojai, California. The forecast right now is 9.43 inches of rain. This is going to create life-threatening flooding. Roads are going to turn to rivers. Rivers are going to overflow their banks. Guys, this is just, you can't escape this. You can't avoid this. All right, it's just going to be catastrophic, life-threatening, damaging flooding. All right, and it's going to be throughout Southern California on the coastline here. Got Ventura, California, Oxnard, California. All right, just Los Angeles is right here, guys. You guys are right on the brink of being included in a 6 to 8 inch zone of rainfall. We're not talking about snow, and usually you talk about snow with this. This is rainfall. It's crazy that we're mentioning these numbers, but still, 5 to 8 inches of rain really all along the coastline. Even into Northern California near Sacramento, we may end up with 2 to 4 inches, with some areas seeing above that, maybe up to 5 inches of rain. But even into Southern Nevada, still 2 to 4 inches. Some areas obviously could see 5 inches. So it's insane, how much rain this is just going to unload. This is unleashing massive amounts of rain and snow for some areas. All right. But it's right along the coast. If you're, I'll circle the area. But if you're in here, we'll take a look at a map in a minute that really shows where. But if you're in here, all right, you've got to. I mean, you should stay in the highest level of your home through most of the day tomorrow, because if you, let's say we have mudslides or anything, or this flooding could be so bad that this could literally like sweep houses. I mean, I don't want to scare you guys. All right, but this is just going to be catastrophic, very bad flooding. All right, and so you can't avoid this. When 9 inches of rain falls in, like, this is 84 hours. All right, it's just, when 7 inches of rain falls here, in a little over 48 hours. Here we go, 48 hours. All right, when you get 6 inches of rain in 48 hours, it doesn't lead to good things. All right, so that's basically what this comes down to. But we now look at the winds here. This is on your NAM model. Let me move myself up so I can see this for a second. All right, and let's get this rolling. All right, here we go. All right, so here's your low. Here's that moisture stream that you see, but notice how, bam, these winds just get very strong, and this is getting into early morning hours of tomorrow. San Jose gusting to 40 miles per hour, but these areas on the immediate coast could be gusting as high as 60 miles per hour as early as like 2 in the morning tomorrow morning. All right, and we take this to tomorrow afternoon, and you've got hurricane force winds just off the coast of Salinas, California, which at the moment, right around, this would be right around 7 in the morning, gusting 55 miles per hour. San Francisco will be gusting higher, obviously, because of the elevation, but 46 miles per hour. Stockton 46. All right. But anybody on the coastline here is set and ready for 40 to 60 mile per hour gust at their max. But somebody out here is going to see a 70 mile per hour gust. I have no doubt in my mind. But these upper elevations will already get going here, and we'll see gusts getting over 60 miles per hour. But do these hurricane force winds make landfall? Yes, they do. In some areas. All right, look at this. 60 miles per hour, right? Just off the coast here of California. We're really on Salinas, California. San Jose still gusting to about 50 miles per hour. There's San Francisco, 55. Santa Rosa, 40. And then the areas up north to Yucca. All right, I'm not sure, for 50 miles per hour. But you get the idea, just how strong these winds will get. And they continue to try and move forward. But no, just look how strong this is, guys. Just take a moment and see how this monster. This is the low where my mouse is right here. This is the low, the center of the low pressure that's pulling in just so much moisture. And the reason why we see the winds is because it's just very strong. All right. And so these winds continue into the rest of tomorrow. They start to die down a little bit, but these upper elevations, the mountainous regions here, look at 74 mile per hour gusts. That's hurricane force right there. I'm saying that we're probably going to see 50 to 70 mile per hour gusts on the coast of California. But even into central California, here's the Sierras, all right, still be gusting to 50 to 60 miles per hour. And then getting into Monday here, these winds will continue, but off to the north and east. All right. So that's enough for your atmospheric river. We'll take a look for the final part of the update. This pattern change that we're talking about, this big pattern change that we've been trying to break down in the past few days. We'll talk about it again here. So this is the latest GFS model. This is the pattern that we're in right now. You've got active storminess and colder air in the south here with that active Pacific jet stream, and you've got a blocking high that's bumping up as a ridge there in Canada and the northern United States. That's a classic El Nino pattern right there, but notice how this quickly starts to change, or it won't quickly start to change, but that low, or that high is going to be moving off to the east. It's going to take a few days, but here it goes. This is tomorrow into Monday here. This high pressure blocking starts to move off to the east, and then we see this first pattern change. We're going to see two pattern changes. Here's the first one. You've got a ridge in the east, all right, with warm air starting to push up into this region, storminess in the west, and I think that could definitely lead to some severe weather. All right, definitely possible, but this pattern change won't last long enough for any storms to have time to really develop. Because notice how that low, or the blocking, their high pressure, it starts to move way up into Canada, and you're seeing a little bit of that starts to bounce back. But you still see kind of that pattern. But notice how these blues start to invade areas of the northeast and into Canada, and there you go. All right, now what you'll see is you may even see a negative an NAO phase here, which we'll see blocking high up way up into Canada, and then up onto into the North Pole and stuff. All right, but what we'll see is we'll see a very active Southern Pacific jet stream as well, but you'll see storms be able to ride this jet stream right through the central United States and the northern United States rather than just the southern United States. This will also lead to our cold air source, which would be our polar vortex, to spill cold air into the northern sections of the United States. So we will see winter make a comeback here, and this is really when things could definitely get a little rough there. And I think we will be dealing with some pretty big snowstorms midway through February into the last week of February. The models are probably going to go pretty crazy. But we could even see the high pressure gets just so intense, guys. But it's way up here up north, and that's just perfect for this pattern, because that means that if you're farther south, if you're the farthest away that you are from this, if you're farther away from this, then that means you're going to see more storminess and more room for cold air to come in. And this is just a great pattern for snowstorms. And the model agreement has been terrific for this. So I would go out farther. All right, personally, if we had the extended European model, that'd be great. But since we don't, it is what it is. But anyways, you get the point. There's a big pattern change coming up, and we just broke it down there. And we'll take a look finally here at your temperature anomalies on the GFS model. So we're because of the pattern that we're in now, we're talking about a big warm up that's coming up here. Look at these temperature anomalies. We're getting to 30 degrees above historical average. We are downright warm out here. We're probably in the 50s. Some of us are probably in the 50s up into Canada, up into the north central United States. This warm air continues to spread along the East Coast, and some areas in the East Coast may actually end up with temperatures spiking 50, maybe 60, maybe even 70 degrees. Really depends on where you are. And it's still warm. All right, there you still have that pattern there where you have cold and storms in the west, and you've got high pressure and warmer air in the east. But this is where things get pretty crazy. There it is, right around February 15th. These shots of cold air will start to move down from Canada as our cold air source opens up, and we'll see it here on. Yep, there it is. This is perfectly lining up with what we saw, because look, this is where I drew my high pressure, and it's right over. It's right over Alaska. It's right over Alaska. It's right over the the North Pole here, at the top of the world, and this is your polar vortex, and it's able to bring down a lot of cold air into the United States as we see high pressure on both sides here. It's a very slim pattern, but if this lines up correctly, basically what I'm saying is that we're going to see colder air and more storminess in different areas of the United States rather than just the southern sections. All right. And then we just see after this, we see rounds of cold air that spill in. And this may actually be winter's second hurrah after that crazy week back into January, where we saw like three major snowstorms in a week and a half. All right. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to watch. I'll see you guys in the next video. So I'm glad I made that one a little bit shorter. I mean, I'm gonna also editing a different video. I later tonight, but yeah, just stay tuned. Please be careful if you are in California. All right. I don't want to scare you once again, but there is going to be life-threatening flooding in some areas. And even if you're not in California, if you know any people there, any family or friends, please just contact them like tonight or as early as you can tomorrow, and just make sure that they're aware and that they know, how much danger that they're in, due to flooding. All right, my spring and summer forecast for this year should be coming out this weekend. I scheduled it for this weekend, but I'm still not done editing it. I'm having a very busy weekend, so I apologize, but I think that will be delayed a bit. So the chances are that it will be out either tomorrow or Monday. If not, then it's just going to be out next week. So I did say on my community tab that it will be out either yesterday or this weekend, but it's looking like it might be out a little bit later than that. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great night. All right. Thank you all for coming to watch. I'll see you guys in the next video.